All right, so the PlayStation State of Play just ended, and here are my overall thoughts of the whole event. That was it. 500,000 people watching. W or L? W or L in chat. What do you rate it out of 10? I rated a solid 3 out of 10. I'm just kidding. Okay, let's talk about this. February 28th, we got another trailer for Monster Hunter Wilds. Me personally, I'm not a huge Monster Hunter fan. Looks good for the people that enjoy Monster Hunter. I think it's a solidly looking game, like, visually. Next, Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Kind of just another, like, indie side scroller that looks good. It's not really my thing. Sonic Racing Crossworlds. I was a fan of Sonic Racing when I was younger. I don't know if I could see myself playing it nowadays, but I think it looked pretty good. It looked enjoyable. It looked like it would be something that anybody that's a big Sonic fan, anybody that's a Sonic Racing fan, you get behind for just, you know, just to have some fun. Digimon Story, Time Stranger. I don't really know much about Digimon as it is. Looked pretty decent. Game coming out of the Bandai Namco studio. Pretty solid. Lost Soul Aside. That one looked decent. I didn't really get a good look at that because trying to make sure my stream doesn't fall apart. That one looked pretty good. New trailer, just really heavy, based around heavy action. It was pretty cool. The demo for Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza was pretty cool. That looked pretty decent. Another thing, when they announced, or they kind of revealed WWE 2K25, seeing Paul Heyman being announcing everything, and then just kind of seeing what they're doing to 2K25 as a WWE title was pretty cool. That coming out in March, the whole My Island and everything, or The Island, is gonna be really cool. You know, just having 50 players around, you know, centralized around wrestling, you know, and just ways you can interact. That's pretty cool. So I think that looks really good. I don't know if I'm going to play WWE 2K25, but I still think as like a wrestling fan, 100% I could get behind that. Borderlands 4, I mean, we've seen some things and I think it looked pretty solid as it was. Yeah, with 2K and Gearbox behind it. The trailer looked really good. It looked like a really true next gen Borderlands experience, so I think that was really, really cool. Directive 8020, a game coming out of Supermassive Games Studios. They're the studio behind like the Dark Picture franchise, Until Dawn, things like that. So I think that one caught my eye as a space story in that kind of setting. I think it was pretty cool. It looked really good. The characters looked like they could definitely be, you know, something you could kind of, you know, get to know the characters. I think also as it was showing as aspects of how it's gonna work, I think it's a pretty cool concept. You know, there's been a lot of like space style games, especially with Dead Space remake coming out a couple years ago. I feel like the space narrative games have really been coming out a lot more. And if they do them right, they're very, very fun, very, very good to play. So I was super excited for that. That looks pretty good. Oh, Days Gone being remastered. What do y'all think about that? I don't really have a problem with that. However, I think it's not necessary. It's not a remake, it's a remaster, so it's nothing crazy. Once again, it kind of seems like an aspect of them bringing a blockbuster title over to the PlayStation 5 natively instead of having to do PS4 crossplay, backwards compatible with the PS4. They announced that there's going to be new permadeath mode, speedrun mode, new content with a $10 upgrade from PS4 to PS5, and that's releasing the 25th of April this year. I mean, it looked pretty decent, but I mean, as a game that already looked really good, I don't think it's gonna be as, I mean, it's a remaster, so it's nothing crazy. You know, they're kind of just revamping the textures, you know, changing some things around. I think it'll look decent. It's kind of like how they remastered The Last of Us from PS3 to the PS4 after the PS4 had been out for a little bit. So I think not a bad option. Definitely not like, it's a remaster, so it's not like a full remake. Lies of P Overture? I can't read, I'm sorry. So yes, it seems to be a DLC for Lies of P set in the winter, but it's set to release this year, 2025. Not a set release date just yet. That looked really good. Super, super excited for that because I definitely want to go through the Lies of P game. Definitely enjoyable. Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic. That was another game that came out once again. Five Nights at Freddy's and the new aspect of Five Nights at Freddy's is cool, but it's not like, I can't really get behind it as much. I feel like they've tried to improvise, but I don't think they've improvised the right way, in my opinion. I feel like they've really taken the key amount of gameplay, or the key part of what Five Nights at Freddy's is. It's literally in the title, Five Nights at Freddy's. And they've turned it pretty much into a free roam horror game, which is fine, but it doesn't seem to me that they keep the aspect of what Five Nights at Freddy's is. So I think it looked decent, but I'm not excited for that. I don't know. It's just not what Five Nights at Freddy's is for me. I mean, and I've played them all. I've played every single Five Nights at Freddy's game at least once, and at least beaten a majority of the original ones for sure. But I don't know. that's longtime fan. I'm a little mixed on that. I don't know how I feel about that just yet. Stellar Blade DLCs, PlayStation Classic releases, and the PS Plus catalog. Stellar Blade DLC looks good. I think a lot of what Stellar Blade's DLC seem to be, which I may not be right on this. They seem to be cosmetic, mainly cosmetic, which is cool, but I don't see that it does anything as like a story-based thing. The PC version of Stellar Blade and the DLC will be releasing in June. So Stellar Blade for PC is coming out in June, which at this point, like I can't see myself playing it on PC. I have a PS5. I've got the game on PS5. It makes more sense for me to play it on PS5, especially with how intensive that game looks like it's gonna be. So I think it was cool. I still need to finish Stellar Blade, so that's probably something I'm gonna do this year. Overall, I think it was a solid event. I don't have any problems, so to say, with the games. I think, you know, I want to play more Metal Gear, so just seeing Snake Eater come out was really, really cool. One thing I will say, and one thing that unfortunately is starting to kind of take on the same thing that's been going on with GTA recently, is the fact that Resident Evil 9 has not seen any news or any public news, and it's been rumored for so long, and Resident Evil 9 is not completely, they just haven't showed it yet. I'm definitely like anticipating that game. I want to see what they're gonna do, because Resident Evil Village was fantastic. I enjoyed Village. I enjoyed 7. The remakes have been really, 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 really good. So I'm excited to see what they do as like a fresh start after Ethan Winters. But yeah, they didn't show anything on that. I kind of took this with you know, with a grain of salt, that God of War was going to get a remake or remaster. That's just been kind of floating around the internet, and I would love to see it, or I'd love to see them at least natively bring God of War 1, 2, 3, maybe even Ascensions over to the PS5. If they were to remake it, like it kind of seemed like they were going to, as you know, some of the assets were made for God of War Valhalla, I would love to see a remake. They would really have to do it right. Santa Monica's done some really cool shit. I don't know if they've ever remade anything, so I don't know how they would be able to do a remake, so to say, and I would be interested to see how it goes. As you know, God of War 1 and 3 are my 2 favorite out of the whole series. I love God of War 1, you know, so much. God of War 3 is a fantastic story, fantastic gameplay, fantastic game. So not seeing something like that, I kind of took it with a grain of salt, but I'd love to see something, and hopefully they will at some point. Other than that, I mean, it was just a state of play. It was nothing crazy, really nothing horrible either. Not bad. Personally, I give it a 6 out of 10. I think it was, like I said, not horrible, but it's also beginning of the year. They're not going to go guns blazing just yet. I think the next state of play will probably have some a little bit more heavier hitters, but 0 out of 10 because no RE9. I want Resident Evil 9 too. We've been waiting for this for so long. I mean, I think Resident Evil 9 has been in talks since like 22, because what? Resident Evil Village came out 21, right? I remember the state of play that when Village first got announced, and I was insanely hyped for that. I think next state of play is going to be better. A lot of people probably aren't going to be very happy. I know a lot of people are... So I've had some time to sit and kind of think of how I feel about the PlayStation State of Play event. Overall, I don't think we can expect, you know, our dream announcements, but as a beginning of the year event, I think they did all right. However, this is going to lead us to the next event where a lot of people are going to expect more from Sony. It really is going to be their time to deliver, with a lot of different titles, with a lot of different things. And there were some titles that I feel like they didn't show that really needed some, hey, we're still doing all right. Kind of just a heads up, just insight on what's going on with the studios that are developing some of these games. Many people are not happy with the state of play. A lot of people found it very underwhelming, which I do see their argument. Very understandable for some people. Some people are really happy. Some people are really happy with some of the announcements, some of the updates into what they saw for, you know, games like Borderlands 4, and games like Metal Gear Solid 3, things like that. And some things I forgot to discuss with my overall thoughts of the state of play is they didn't say anything about the Wolverine game. And a lot of people have been dying to see gameplay and been dying to see really just some updates on that, just to have more of like an idea of what's going on with the game, because they announced it, it's really just been radio silent. Secondly, Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts fans, I really feel for y'all. Not getting any information on Kingdom Hearts 4 and any updates, especially being the week of Valentine's. A lot of people thought that Kingdom Hearts 4 was going to get some updates, and fortunately we didn't see anything, and I really feel like that was a really good setup for Sony to give some more information to excite fans for Kingdom Hearts 4. And I really just hope that game ends up turning out well. Hopefully the wait is worth it. And lastly, I want to give my overall rating of this state of play. So my overall rating is a 5 out of 10. It could have been way worse, and it for sure could have been way better. At the end of the day, it's just a state of play. We've always got the next one, and then any updates from other companies and developers. So we'll just see how the year unfolds and what happens. This is a big year for gaming, 2025, with a lot of key games coming out this year. So don't lose hope. We're going to be all right.